Brian Harsin has finally been canned, put back on the shelf for somebody to potentially pick off, go check out with, and make him their new head coach. But before we get into it, please go ahead, hit that like and subscribe button. Let me know what you guys are thinking down in the comments below. Do you guys think that Auburn took too long to fire Brian Harsin, or did you expect it to happen around this time? Okay, Brian Harsin has been fired by the University of Auburn after a 3-5 start to the season, losing to Penn State, LSU, Georgia, Ole Miss, and Arkansas this past game. And honestly, I kind of felt like this would come a little later in the season after that Texas A&M game. That was just me. But last year, if you're Auburn, you go out there, you put together what you think was going to be a strong start to the season, going 4-1, losing to Penn State early in the season at Penn State. You finish the season 6-7, losing to Houston in the Birmingham Bowl. And at that point, the writing was kind of on the wall. It was almost like Auburn was trying to find a reason to fire Brian Harsin. But here's the deal. In this 2023 recruiting class, he's sitting at number 49. Auburn, an SEC school, sitting at number 49 total with 11 total commits. 8 of those are 4 stars. 3 of them are 3 stars. In the 2022 recruiting class, you had a much better showing at number 21 with 18 commits, 11 4 stars, and 7 3 stars. And you've got to almost start to wonder, the bucket for Auburn, it's going to start getting rated. Like, surely they're not going to be able to keep a lot of these guys, especially in the 23 class. But I would assume we're probably going to start seeing more people from this Auburn class, especially maybe in the 2022 cycle, enter the transfer portal. Now, I guess there's 2 big questions here. Who is going to be the interim head coach for Auburn? We still don't know that yet. But then also, who's going to be the new head coach taking over? There's a lot of good names out there, right? And of course, I think the number 1 on Auburn's list is Deion Sanders from Jackson State. We've seen what Primetime is able to do out there, and he was able to shockingly get the number 1 player overall in the class last year. So if he goes to Auburn, an SEC school, there's no doubt in my mind Deion Sanders could start putting up top 5 classes within his first year. No doubt in my mind that he could do that. But you've also got other guys, like Urban Meyer is probably going to be high up on that list. Scott Frost is going to be available. Listen, the Alabama fans are going to love this one because we say it in our group chat all the time, but they would be happy to see Bill O'Brien go to Auburn. Now, I don't think that's a good fit, and I don't think that's a good hire. But that's also a potential possibility here. I think Hugh Freeze, he's out after he just took that extension. So I really don't know who else outside of those names, because if you're Auburn, you're trying to hit a home run hire here. You've got to hit a home run hire. You're in a conference where you have to play Alabama every year. You got to play LSU, Georgia, Ole Miss, Arkansas, Texas A&M, who they're going to be on the rise. They're going to be up and coming. Like, you have to be able to hit a home run hire. You have to be able to hit somebody that's going to be able to go out there, make a splash, and win you some games. So, who's going to take over for Brian Harsin? I don't know. I think Auburn really makes a big push for Deion Sanders. And this is a big test for Deion Sanders. If he can get this job and he can turn Auburn around, he can have any job he wants in the country. He might be the next, and Alabama fans, do not crucify me over this. He could be the next coach to take over for Nick Saban. He could. And quite honestly, if you're an Alabama fan, you'd want that. Because Deion Sanders would be able to pick up right where Nick Saban left off in terms of recruiting and being able to win those games. Deion Sanders has proved it at Jackson State, and I think that would translate really well, especially with his name potentially going to be the head coach at Auburn. He could have a lot of success there. So go ahead, jump in the comments below. Let me know what you guys are thinking. Who is going to be the next head coach for Auburn?